She literally grabs my t-shirt by my fucking collar.
Oh, put some fucking clothes on!
And she throws me on the ground. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Darian, aka blah. My name is Darian, aka LOL, not Darian, on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube. Please subscribe, give me a thumbs up, comment down below how you like this video, and go follow me on all my social media. So, I know I'm looking crazy. See, of course, Bailey hears me recording and she comes out immediately. But yeah, I know I look crazy. I finally washed my hair. It's been obligatory cat. Say hi, Bailey. I finally washed my hair after 3 weeks. Don't judge me, okay? When you have as much hair as I do, it's a lot, okay? You literally have to like give yourself a pep talk to wash your own fucking hair. I am here to do a story time while I style my hair. Let me start. Today is going to be a story time about, like I said, I know I look crazy. Today is going to be a story time about my horrible, no good, very bad ex-stepmother, aka my evil stepmother. This is my survival story. I'm so dramatic. Let's get on to this story time. So basically, when I was 3 years old, my dad met this woman. Basically, my dad and mom broke up when I was like literally 2 weeks old. My mom was just like, you know, I don't want to do this with you no more, bro. He was like, you know, okay, all right, bet. But like, full disclaimer, he has never like really gotten over how he feels about my mom. But like, my mom is just not going for that shit ever in life. Ever again. My mom is very firm on her boundaries. She's just like, no, there's no reason for us to ever revisit that ever again in life. Like, there's no point. So that is like the setup, right? So they were both like, you know, just going on about life, and my dad ended up meeting this woman that we will call Daffodil. I don't fucking know. That we will call Daffodil. And he met her when I was 3 years old, right? And they were like kind of on and off, I'm pretty sure, for a while, because she has a child that like isn't my dad's, but like he knows like it's not like a scandal or anything. Like it was very, you know, it was very known that like that's not his child. He even knows like the father and everything. So it was just like an on and off situation. And basically, long story short, they had a kid together and my dad married her. Right, cool. When I was a kid, I was actually like fond of her. No, we weren't the closest, but she was very cool with me, right? And I mean, rightfully so. I'm a fucking child, you know what I mean? Like, there has to be something wrong with you to have an issue with a child, like a little bitty child. So we were cool. However, and I also loved my siblings. I love my siblings. I still love them until this day. Wish they would call me more, but you'll see like why that's a whole issue in a minute. So as I got older, so like, you know, we were doing well or whatever. I would go and visit every single Christmas and every summer break, because my mom ended up moving me and my sister, so her second daughter, all the way like to Houston, and that's where I basically grew up, right? So every holiday, every like Christmas and every summer, I would go stay with my dad for the entire time, right? And it was great. I would see my siblings. They loved me. You know, I was like I was, you know, big sis or whatever. So I was always excited, looking forward to seeing them, looking forward to spending time with my dad's side of the family and everything. And then sometimes I would go and visit my mom's side of the family too, because we all, are from my hometown. So everybody's there. And especially like if my other little sister on my mom's side would come with me, then like I would go and visit her, and that would like give me an opportunity to see all of the rest of my family, including my mom's mom, who actually ended up moving in with us later on. Fast forward, I'm getting older, right? And as I'm getting older and approaching teen years, Daffodil starts getting a little bit mean in a way. I don't know how to explain it, but her like energy slowly started to shift. And I don't know if it was because I started getting older or because dreams of hers just started getting squandered, and she started and that's not me like, being a bitch or anything, but like there were like milestones that I saw that like, or events that I saw that kind of pushed her to start being very like nasty with me. Like for instance, I remember she wanted to be a cosmetologist, right? She wanted to be a beautician. And she was talking about like opening her own salon and everything. And I'm like literally 8 or 9 years old when she's discussing this. And to me, it sounds like so much fun, right? Especially because like she was like, telling me, oh, you can be like the receptionist and da 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 da. Like, literally just hyping my head up. I'm a fucking kid, so I'm over here, just daydreaming about it, right? And I'm like excited about it. And plus I'm a big daydreamer in general, even still to this day. Like if you give me the tiniest bit of hope, I'm gonna start daydreaming about that shit forever until it actually happens. Even if it like doesn't happen, it'll just always be a dream that I just like, when I get bored, I just think about it and I just daydream about it, So I was like excited because that just sounded so fun, being a receptionist. You're a kid, you don't like, that's just like some cool ass shit, right? So one day, basically, my dad's like a tech type of guy. Like he loves having like all the new gadgets and shit. So he had like this one remote that literally was in the shape of like an office phone, basically, or a landline, and another remote that just had a bunch of fucking buttons on it. So I was like pretending to type on one of like the remotes, and I was using the other one that was in the shape of a phone, and I was literally just playing around like kids fucking do. And I'm like, pretending to be a fucking receptionist for her beauty salon. And she's not even like around. Like I'm literally just in the living room doing that by myself because I'm just sitting there daydreaming and just like, getting excited and getting giddy about it as kids do. And she comes downstairs and she was like, she looked at me and she like squinted her eyes. She always used to do this whenever like whenever she would like get crazy with me, she would always do this thing where she would squint her eyes first and just like make it seem like she's like so concerned with what's going on or so invested basically. And so she looks at me and she squints her eyes and she goes,
What are you doing?
and I was like, oh, I'm just like, practicing for when I become a receptionist at your salon. Like I can't wait, like da da da, being a fucking kid. And she literally looks at me and she screams and she goes,
Put the fucking remotes down!
And I was like, what the fuck? And that was the very first time, like, that's why it's such a vivid memory for me, because it was like the very first time that she had ever gotten out of character with me. And I was like, and I'm 8 or 9 years old, literally like, what the fuck? And like, my mom doesn't even really scream at me like that. So like, when she was screaming at me, I'm like, what the fuck came over her? So that was like instance number 1, right? 8 or 9 years old. That was the very first time that she raised her voice at me and got like mean. So fast forward throughout the years, she's still like doing, just like mean-spirited little shit. And I'm like telling my mom and my grandma, because at this point my mom's mom had moved in with us in my mom's house. And so whenever she would do shit, I would literally call my mom and tell her, and I'll just be like, bro, I can't keep doing this. Like, I can't keep doing this. This woman is so fucking horrible to me. She's so mean. I'm giving up my vacation time at school, like giving up, you know, my summer break when I could be in Houston with my friends having fun. I'm giving it up to be here and babysit for free for hours on end while there's an adult in here asleep, or, you know, everybody's at work or whatever. And then when they are awake and attentive, I'm getting screamed at by this bitch. Like, you know, it was just, it had gotten to be too much. So fast forward when I got older. Oh yeah, and as y'all can see, I literally just do braids because I don't feel like waiting for my hair to dry. My hair's gotten so long. I know, like, it doesn't seem like it, but like in braids, it's that long. Fast forward. I am a full-blown teenager at this point. I'm like, I think I had to be like 14 or 15. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I was 15 years old because I have a picture of me at 15 in this shirt, right? So this was like in the era, if you like are old enough to remember Tumblr and shit, I was heavy on Tumblr, okay? Heavy, emphasis on the heavy. So I was heavy on Tumblr, and this was like during the little like DIY period of Tumblr. If you know, then you know. You know, like, people would make their own ripped jeans. They would make their own crop tops. They would make their own like everything, right? And so I was no different. I hope you guys can hear me. There was this one time we went to Ross or Marshall's, TJ Maxx, one of those, right? I saw this t-shirt that was fitted, but it was not my size. It was like a large or an extra large. It was something like super, super big on me. And like at that time, I mean, I was about to say at that time, I'm still not a large, but at that time, I don't know why, probably because like the length was also a part of the size. But the shirt was super fucking, like, it fit me. It was fitted nicely, but it was super long. So I bought the shirt. I think it was like $15 or no, it couldn't have been $15 because it was a plain white long t-shirt that was just fitted. So probably like $8 or something. It's fucking TJ Maxx, right? I bought it because I had the intention of turning it into a crop top, doing DIY. So when I bought the shirt, I had cut it to be a crop top. It was like super short. Like it ended up being like right up under my breast. I did not expect it to be that short. I didn't account for the stretch in it. So when I cut it, I didn't expect it to be like right under my breast. It was supposed to be like right above my belly button. But you know, DIY, you know, it's always like a gamble, right? So that's not even the fucking issue. So like I said, the shirt was so long, like it was literally right above my knees, comfortably. Like I didn't have to pull it down to my knees or anything. When I put it on, it was right above my knees. So I kept the bottom part because it was basically like a skirt, right? And I don't know why. Actually, I don't like this braid. I don't know why, but back then, for some reason, I wasn't allowed to, like, when I would go visit, I wasn't allowed to wash my clothes by myself. It wasn't like an explicit rule, but it was a rule of like, you know, you can wait. You can wait until everybody needs to do their laundry. And I don't know like why, if I really don't know why that was the rule, but like I couldn't wash my clothes until everybody else had to do their laundry, which, you know, in itself is problematic because I'm literally living out of a fucking suitcase. I'm at, like, this is y'all's house. Y'all have closets upon closets of clothes and dressers of clothes and everything. I'm gonna run out of clothes faster than y'all will. But they, like, you know, that was the rule. Like I said, it wasn't an explicit rule, but like if I tried to wash my clothes on my own, they would tell me, just wait. Just wait. We're going to have to do laundry soon. Just wait, every single time. So it got to the point where I literally had just given up doing my own laundry. That meant that because I was having to run on their schedule of when they were like, you know, ready to wash clothes, I was running out of clothes a lot faster than everybody else. So this was one of those times. And I was like, well, I literally have no more bottoms. Like, I've worn my bottoms too many times to even justify continue wearing them as far as like PJs go. So I had put on the bottom part of the t-shirt that I had cut. It was clean. It was long. It literally went down to my knees. And it was just like, okay, you know, I'll wear that. And I didn't even wear it like with the crop top around the house. I wore the skirt and then I wore like an oversized t-shirt. Daffodil has like, she called me downstairs for something, right? She was sitting at the dining room table and I was upstairs in the game room because that's where I used to sleep whenever I would go visit my dad. And I'm upstairs in the game room and she calls me down. So I'm like, okay. So, you know, I go down. She sees the bottom of like the t-shirt. She sees like the skirt, basically the makeshift skirt that I had. And she was like, she looked at me and she did that thing that she always does. She squinted. And she was like,
what are you wearing?
And I was like, oh, you know, I'm excited to tell her about it because it's a DIY project that I just did. DIY project, I just cut the shirt, but, you know. And I'm like, oh, it's the bottom part of that shirt that we bought whenever we went to TJ Maxx. Like, I cut the top part into a crop top, and then the bottom part, you know, it's long enough to be a skirt. I'm like, you know, excited to show her, especially because she's all about like DIY shit. Like, she used to braid my hair and everything. She's the reason why I do my own box braids and shit, because I got used to not having to pay somebody to do my box braids for me. So when I stopped going there, I decided to teach myself how to do my own box braids. She looks at me while I'm like, you know, just hyping up the skirt. Like, I'm excited to show her because I'm thinking she's, you know, like, once again, even though I didn't like her, she's still like very hot and cold with me. Basically, like, there were times when she was just so kind to me and so like loving to me. And then it would just switch in an instant. And it was like, it was always feeling like once she switched to that, I had kind of overstayed my welcome. And it was like always getting towards the point when it was time for me to like go back home. And so this was no different. So I'm telling her about it. And she's just like sitting there looking at me with her eyes squinted. And I got this like, you know, big ass smile on my face. I'm telling her about the skirt and everything. And I'm like, yeah, no, like, look, isn't it so fucking cool? Like, I have a 2-piece now and da 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 da. Like, of course I'll have to probably tuck it under because there's like the frayed ends from when I cut it and blah, like just going on and on about it, right? And so I'm telling her about it and she looks at me and she squints her eyes a little bit more and she goes,
come here, let me see it.
And I was like, okay, you know, walked up to her and she literally grabs my t-shirt by my fucking collar and pulls my face closer to hers. And she goes,
go put some fucking clothes on!
And she throws me on the ground. And I will never forget that. And I was like, what the fuck just happened? And I literally immediately just run upstairs and I start crying. I'm fucking 15 years old, having to deal with a grown-ass woman bullying me in my father's house. Like, she didn't put no money on that house. It was my dad. But I digress. Anyway, she's like, you know, she did that. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, what the fuck? And it was always like, she was always, for the most part, trying to do this shit when my dad wasn't around. And it was just very... I remember I was just so fucking distraught and I called my mom and I was just like, bro, like, I don't understand what I did. And I don't think I told my mom about what, like, I never told them in detail what she did. I would just say, bro, she is awful. She is awful. She is so fucking horrible. I don't understand why he married this bitch. Like, I was so fed up, right? So that was another instance. So fast forward, this was my last visit there. And it was just like an accumulation of things that I was just like, yeah, I'm not coming back here. I'm not coming back here to visit. As much as I love my siblings and my dad, I'm not coming back here until he has left this bitch, because I could tell that like their relationship was on the fray, basically. Even though like my younger sisters try to act like, you know, it just came out of nowhere, and they don't understand like why my dad and Daffodil couldn't like work it out or whatever. It was very evident that there was no working that out. Back to what I was saying, my last straw was my summer going into junior year. That was the last time I ever went to visit them, because it was just so much shit at that point that I was just like, I don't want to be around this woman anymore. So I had gotten there, and my dad like always asks about my mom, like, or he used to always ask about my mom whenever I would go and visit, because my mom was basically like no contact with him unless it was about me, which I mean, fair. But so he never like got insight on her personal life until I would come. So he like, when I had came that summer, one of the very first things he asked me, I remember we were in the kitchen. We were in the kitchen, or I was at the dining room table and they were in the kitchen cooking. My dad had asked me like, oh, you know, how's your mom been? And I forgot like what I said, but I said something. I think it was like literally just about like how I was like upset with her about something. Which, like, you know, I'm a fucking teenager. Of course I'm upset with my mom about something. You know, teenagers are always upset with their moms about fucking something, or teenage girls. So I'm like, you know, telling him that I'm upset with my mom about something. And I forgot like what it was. But Daffodil chimes in and she goes,
See, that's why your mama can't keep a man.
and I'm like, what? What? And my dad looks at her and he goes, wash your mouth. And she like gets quiet, right? So that was like another thing, because it was just like, bro, like, I can talk shit about my mom, but you cannot talk about my mom. Like, I don't care what goes on. I don't care who says what. You are not allowed to talk about my mom ever. So that was like odd to me, but I was just like, okay, like, whatever. This bitch is weird, but you know, we've been new. Fast forward, so basically my dad's mom was from New Jersey. So all of her family is basically still living in New Jersey. The only family that doesn't live in New Jersey are her kids and her grandkids. So this was like a couple years, no, not a couple years. Was it? Yeah, I think it was like a couple years after she had passed away. My great aunt, her baby sister had came to visit us with her kids. And it was a beautiful time. I absolutely loved it, because I love my grandma's side of the family. Like, especially like her younger sister, my aunt, she literally is just like, she has the same spirit as my grandma. So it was just like, it was such a good time to like hang out with them. There was this day where, well, let me back up. Basically, if y'all like remember earlier in the video, I said that Daffodil was going to open her own salon. So she ended up getting her cosmetologist license, but Daffodil, sorry, my posture was horrible. Daffodil is the type of person who does not have any ambition. And that's not me like shitting on her or anything. She just doesn't, like, she sees that like one thing gets hard, like all it takes is for one thing exactly to get difficult for her and she'll give up. You know, cosmetology school was easy for her because she already knew how to do nails. She already knew how to do hair. She just needed the license. So she got the license and it was like, you know, phenomenal. But then whenever it came to opening her own shop or starting her own business, it got hard. So she gave up. But she still, like, you know, knew all of the techniques, obviously, on how to do it. And she had this huge bag that was like her nail bag. So she had like, you know, really great filers in there, a bunch of fingernail polish, things like that, right? I remember her telling me like, hey, you know, whenever you want to use like the stuff in my nail box, in my nail bucket, you can just go ahead and grab it. You don't have to ask me. Like, you know, this house is mine just as much as it is yours. Like, you don't ever have to ask me, want, right? So I'm like, okay, cool. So there was one day where I was like, I wanted to file my nails. I wanted to get like a square shape. So I went, got the file out of the bucket, didn't ask. Just like she said, I didn't have to ask. So I'm filing my nails. My family is over. I come down the stairs and everybody's like in the living room because I think my dad was like grilling, but he was taking like a break in the grilling session. And so everybody was in the living room, and it was like, it wasn't just my great aunt that was there. It was her kids. It was my uncles, their wives slash girlfriends and their kids. Like everybody was over, right? I come down the stairs and I'm like, filing my nails. Fadil, she sees me filing my nails and she goes,
"There's my nail file. I've been looking for it this whole time and you're telling me you fucking stole it from me?"
I'm like, I look at her, I'm like, what? Like because it's like, you told me that I can take it. Like if you were looking for it, all you had to do was that. And she fucking lied. Cause she was like,
"I've been looking for it for days."
I literally took it out of the nail bucket the day before. So if you were looking for it for days, I don't know what to tell you, Buki. Like I just picked it up. And it's like, if you were looking for it for days, all you had to do was fucking ask me and I would have told you, oh, I don't have it. Or if you asked me the day that I got it, oh yeah, I have it here, you need it. And my dad looks at her, cause she says this in front of the entire fucking family. And my dad looks at her and he goes,
"Are you calling my daughter a fucking thief?"
and she like caught herself because she's never like really been outrageous in front of family before. And so she was like,
"No, that's not what I'm saying."
he was like,
"Are you sure? Because that's what it sounds like you're saying."
and she was like,
No, I'm sorry. Like I was just looking for it.
and I was like, yeah, no, you could have just asked me if I had it. I picked it up yesterday. You told me I didn't have to ask to get it out of the nail box. Like I just went and grabbed it, but here's a bag, So that was that. And that was literally the last time I went over there, because it was just like, I want nothing to do with you. Like, you're a weirdo, bitch. You are a weirdo. Like, you literally just called me a fucking thief in front of my family over a nail file of all things. Like, you're weird. You're weird. And then you're gonna lie on top of it and say you were looking for it for days. No, you weren't. Weirdo. So, fast forward. I like stopped coming altogether. Christmas break comes, my dad asked me like, oh, are you coming? I told him no. Later on that school year, I think it was like spring break or something, my dad texts me and he tells me,
"I'm getting a divorce."
and I'm like, I literally read it, I'm like, thank God. Like, oh my goodness. I was wondering how long they were gonna be beating this dead fucking horse, But my sisters unfortunately did not. My sisters basically just stopped liking my dad, and for the longest, they wouldn't speak to me. I don't know if it's because they didn't have my number or what, but like we just weren't in communication with each other. Finally, my youngest sister, we're gonna call her Alexis. My sister Alexis finally reaches out to me and we start forming a bond. And I'm like so happy because that's all I wanted, honestly. I just wanted to like be able to be a big sister to her. But I also had to like protect my own peace as a teenager, so it was hard, and especially at that age, they didn't have like a phone or whatever, so there was just like, I just had to separate myself basically. So we're finally like communicating. I'm like 22, 23 at this point in my life. And we're finally texting. What did I call? Oh, Alexis. So me and Alexis, like, we're texting and everything. I'm getting to know this version of Alexis, her interests, her hobbies. Never, not once did I like say anything about her mom. Like on both sides of the family, the way things are in my household is that like, you don't talk shit about the parent in front of the child. You let the child make their own assumptions about their parent. Because if the parent is really that bad, they're gonna show their true colors to their child at some point or another. You know what I mean? And even if they never do, at least that child gets a version of the parent that you never got. We don't, like, my dad never talked shit about my mom. My mom never talked shit about my dad. It was never a thing in our household that we did. So I extended that same policy to my little sister Alexis. I extended that same policy to Alexis. So when Alexis would text me, it would literally just be about me and her, or like, just what, literally just about us. Nothing else. I would never say anything about her mom. She would like sometimes vent to me about our dad, But like, you know, I would just sit there and listen. One day, my sister had asked me, Alexis had asked me, why did you stop coming to visit us? I told her straight up, I didn't say anything about her mom at all whatsoever. I just told her straight up, like, I was being mistreated in the home, and I was also like sacrificing my vacation times when I could have been spending it with my friends to go and watch kids for free the entire time. And at a certain point, at 16 years old, that's not how I expected to spend my summer. That's not how I expected to spend my Christmas break. And so I just, I stopped coming. And she was like, I understand, like, I'm being mistreated too, and da 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 da. Dad, da 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 da. And I like was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Like, I get it, but at the same time, that is not who I was talking about. And I had to tell her straight up, like, I understand that, like, and I wish I still had the messages, but I'm pretty sure I deleted them all. Or it's not that I deleted them all. I need storage on my phone, storage space on my phone, so my phone deletes any messages after a year. But it doesn't do that anymore, but that's how I had it. That's how I had my settings for a long time. But, I'm like, whoa, hold your horses. That is not who I meant. That is not who I was talking about. And I told her, like, I'll listen to you and, like, any type of, like, grievances you have when it comes to Dad. But, like, that's not who I was talking about, and I want to make that very clear. And the only reason I said that is because, you know how kids are, or teenagers are, like, they'll, you feed into the things that they're talking about or that they're complaining about when it comes to a parent, and so they'll run back and tell the parent, yeah, and then Darian said da 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 da, and she don't like you either, that's why she stopped coming, blah 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 blah. And so I didn't want her, like, doing that, because me and my dad, like I said, we're tight. So I didn't want her, like, trying to use me as ammo, basically, right? Well, she still did, because when I told her, like, it was somebody else in the house, but I still didn't say her mom's name, because I really did not want to, like, bring it to that. She, like, went back and told her mom what I said, because, like I said, I didn't say her mom explicitly, but I did say, along the lines of, like, it wasn't Dad that was mistreating me. There was another adult in the household that was mistreating me. But I will still listen to you, like, if you need to talk about Dad and da 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 da. She went back and presumably asked her mom about what I said, because, she's not dumb, so she knows, like, who I was talking about. Daffodil basically told Alexis, or she did tell Alexis, that our dad was manipulating me into thinking that she was a horrible stepmom to me, and that I'm just being brainwashed by him and da 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 da, which is not true. She starts arguing with her dad or whatever, and she's like,
I know that even though Darian says that it was Mom mistreating her in the house, it was actually you. Mom told me that you just been manipulating her into thinking that she was the bad one in the house.
Apparently, unbeknownst to me, until my dad told me on the phone, Daffodil thought that I still liked her that entire time. She literally considered us besties, and she would always tell my dad, like, I know Darian's, torn up that we got a divorce, because I know she loved me and da 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 da. And I'm like, what? Like, and my dad literally, sometimes he would straight up tell her, like, no, she fucking hates you. She fucking hates you. But other times he would just let her be delusional. And so it wasn't until this point in time when she finally realized that I didn't like her. But after, like, Alexis got into the argument with my dad or whatever, he, like, calls me and asks me, like, what did you tell them? So I finally just, like, I tell him, like, everything that I just told y'all. And basically what sprung that of, like, her saying, like, he's, like, because she basically said, like, he was, like, always bullying her, or, like, he was bullying her and, like, he was calling her immature and shit like that. He was. I mean, he wasn't bullying her, but he did call her immature. And basically, my dad is like tough love, Mr. Tough Love guy. Alexis was like, her and her older sister are literally only a year apart. The sister that I said, remember, way back when, was not my dad's child, but like, my dad raised her as his own child. Her sister was about to graduate from high school and go to college. And she was telling my dad, you know, like, I can't wait till I graduate and go to college. Like, I want to hurry up and graduate. I want to graduate early. They're only a year and a half apart. My dad was like telling her like, hey, you know, you need to slow your roll. I understand, you know, you can't wait to go off to college with your sister and everything, but at the same time, you still have a lot more growing to do mentally. And he was like, you know, college ain't sweet. The guys there will take advantage of you if you are not vigilant enough to be able to keep your head on a swivel. And he was like, you know, you still have a very childlike mind, and you need to grow up more before you try to rush off into an adult world like college. My sister is very, very sensitive, and so she took that, like, you know, as him bullying her basically. But I understand, like I said, my dad don't lie. My dad does not lie. So I'm just like, and that's not me saying like, you know, my dad is like above everything, because he's not. I've gotten onto him about things like in the past and everything. But like when it comes to things like that, he's not going to sit here and tell me one thing while telling her another. Like he's very just like, no, she needs to slow down. She needs to grow up a little bit more. And that's all I was trying to tell her. I text my sister, right? And I tell her like, you know, hey, like I understand, you know, you want answers and, you know, da 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 da. And I understand like, you know, you're going through whatever you're going through with our dad. However, if you have any questions about like my treatment and like, you know, how I experienced the household whenever we were growing up, I would prefer you come to me. Don't go to dad, don't go to your mom, come straight to me, because I'm the only one that can tell you accurately what was going on. This bitch is so fucking nuts. She is so nuts. This is around Christmas time. Fast forward, I get a text message from Alexis. I know for a fact that Daffodil sent it from my sister's phone, because my sister doesn't talk like this. Daffodil texts me from my sister's phone pretending to be Alexis. And she texts me along the lines of like, bitch, you need help. She tells me like how they never loved me, how I've never been a big sister to them, to keep their mom's name, keep her name, because we all know it's fucking Daffodil that texted me, keep her name out my motherfucking mouth, and next time they see me, they're gonna whoop my ass, and blah, 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 blah. And then called my mom manly. I'm like, what the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? Like, I'm literally looking, I'm like, what? And then she even goes on to say that my little brother doesn't even fucking remember me. I was just on the phone with him like a week or two ago. Like, what are you talking about? He doesn't fucking remember me, you stupid bitch. Like, I was so, oh my God, y'all don't understand. Like, my soul was so irked when I saw that, because it was just like, how fucking dare you use my sister? You use my sister to get at me. You have a fucking phone, you stupid cunt. Like, you could have just texted me yourself. But no, you want to start drama between me and my sister. Like, do you understand how fucking evil you have to be to try and start drama between two siblings? Are you fucking serious, you stupid bitch? I was so fucking irritated. I was so angry, y'all. Because it's just like, bro, like, I finally get somewhere in the relationship that I have with my sister, and here you come to fuck it all up because your ego is bruised. Bitch, get the fuck, go fucking grow up, you stupid bitch. Oh my God, I was so fucking angry. I'm still angry. Yeah, and then like, on top of all of that, like, she talked about my mom, which was like, oh, and then she called me a fast ass little girl, I was talking to grown ass men at what, 13 or 14, whatever the fuck age she said, which is not true. Grown ass men she's speaking of were guys that were 14. I'm 13, they're 14. Or she would see them and they would look older than what they were, but I literally went to school with them. They're fucking 14 or 15 years old. Like, come on now, it's literally 2 years. Like, and like I said, on top of all of that, another reason how I know that that wasn't my sister is because, one, she said little girl. Why would my sister, who is like 7 years younger than me called me a little girl. What sense does that make? Number one. Number two, my little sister doesn't remember shit about when I was 13. She was fucking, what, 6, 7? Like, she doesn't remember shit. Number three, she doesn't know my mom. She has never met my mom. Daffodil was always the one that was like always saying that my mom was a man and like all just because my mom has a deep voice. Why would my sister, who has never met my mom in her entire like ever, like when I say ever, never, she has never met my mom. Why would she talk shit about my mom? I feel like she just took the phone and texted it, but it could have also been like she told Alexis what to type and then snatched up the phone. And I'll tell you how I know that she took up the phone later. I remember reading that and it just like, it made my blood boil, honestly and truly, because like I said, it was like, you're using my sister against me. You had the nerve to hide behind my sister's identity to try to hurt me. You, a grown ass woman, you are fucking 20 years older than me. You my mama's age, bitch. You're my mother's age. Fucking texting me this shit. And I remember like sending it to my mom. And my mom was like, what the fuck? I send it to my dad. I send it to my dad at the same time I send it to my mom. And I'm like, why would Alexis say this to me? And my dad was like, that's not Alexis. That's not you. And he was like, actually read it. That is not Alexis. When has Alexis ever said shit like little girl? He was like, Alexis wouldn't even remember what the fuck you were doing at 13. I was like, bro, you're so fucking right. And then I realized Alexis has never met my mom. So why would she say, fuck your mom? Like, fuck your manly ass mama. Like, what? Daffodil wants to play on my fucking phone. I'm gonna play on hers. And she is like super dramaed out. Cause like this bitch has always been the problem in every single friendship and everything. That's why she doesn't have friends. That's why the only people that are cool with her are her family. Because nobody else can like explain why she is the way she is and like explain it enough to be able to like still justify being cool with her. She doesn't have, I say all that to say, she doesn't do social media. So she doesn't have a Facebook. She deactivated her Facebook like years and years and years ago. She doesn't do Instagram, Twitter, none of that, right? So I had to go the old school route and literally look her up on the white pages to figure out how to contact her. And I'm not gonna lie, especially because like I was a corporate baddie at that time, I had money. I paid to find her fucking phone number or email or whatever the fuck, right? And I didn't want to send a text message to the phone number that I found, mainly because you never know, somebody like might have changed their phone number or something. And I knew my dad wasn't gonna give it to me because he was like at that point where he just wanted to avoid conflict. But like, I'm like, no, this bitch got me fucked up. Like, she's got me so fucked up. I'm not doing that. Fuck the peace, okay? Fuck the peace. If she cared about the peace, she wouldn't have texted me off of my sister's phone. If she was big and bad like she claims she is and like she thinks she is, then she would have texted me her damn self. You're not scared of me, right? You're not scared. You this big bad bitch, right? So then text me off your own fucking phone. Why are you texting me off of my sister's phone? Your fucking daughter's phone, you stupid bitch. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to text her because she could have easily, like the white pages could easily be wrong about her phone number, or it could have like changed, you know, and I don't want to text a random stranger like, bitch, you got me fucked up, blah, 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 right? Especially because she could have blocked my phone number from her phone. Like she could have like predicted either like my dad would give it to me if he was on that type of time, or I find it, you know, on the fucking internet like I did. I knew that this was correct. I emailed her because one thing about email is that you get a confirmation whenever you type in their email address if they have a profile picture, which she did. I sent her a very nasty, well-spoken email. I messaged her, I said, good evening, Daffodil. I found your email from Google and I wanted to email you to say that your message this morning was nasty work, just like your soul. I know good and well that Alexis did not send that message, and you should be ashamed of yourself for being so childish that you would stoop as low as you did to text me from my little sister's phone, pretending to be her in order to hurt me. Additionally, it is so extremely fucked up that you tried to drive a wedge between two sisters. Your mother would be ashamed and disgusted with your behavior. You are 36 years old. Not 36. Oh my God, you 36. Yo, it's been a minute since I've read this. Oh my God. I know that you are stuck in the 15-year-old bully mentality that you had 20 years ago, but it's time to grow out of it. You have some nerve calling me fast. Who here was a teen mom? Which one of us lied about our age to date older men? Sounds like you have a serious problem with projection. Furthermore, we all know you have always been jealous of my mom because you thought my dad still wanted her. What about my mom is manly, bitch? You can't even tell me. Cry louder next time when you think about my mom and the fact that the only man worth a damn that wanted you would have left you for her in a heartbeat. Hopefully you'll be able to dispel some of that hatred that you still harbor for her 7 years after the fact. Finally, I do not want... Oh yeah, I forgot. She said I wanted to be white. What the fuck? Finally, I do not want to be white and I don't hate myself. It's so funny and so telling that everything you had to say about me is information from when I was 13 years old. You don't know a single applicable thing about me anymore because, as people should do, I grew. I matured. I changed. Sadly, I can say that you are the meanest, nastiest, most vindictively selfish woman I have ever met based on the memories I have of you. And that description is still accurate till this day. That's sad, huh? Next time you want to send a horrible message because you think you don't have to deal with the reply, make sure I can't find your email on the internet. Go to therapy and heal, bitch. Or better yet, go fuck yourself. And stop trying to use my siblings in your petty bullshit. Best, your ex-stepdaughter. P.S. Don't even bother emailing me back because you will be blocked. But yeah, and I know you guys are like, oh, how do you block an email? You don't. You can literally just like add like a filter to your email basically to where if it comes from a certain person, it'll automatically send it to your trash and then delete it from your trash. Fast forward, like I said, I found out that she had confiscated my sister's phone, really deactivated her phone number and got her a whole new phone because when I tried to call her, it literally, like, it wasn't even like, you cannot reach this caller. It was literally like, this phone is no longer in service type shit. I do now text Alexis again. It was, I literally had to wait, I think like 6 months before I was able to contact her, which was like June. She basically, like, when she texted me, she went from having an Android, as y'all can see, the messages were green, to now her messages are blue. So she has an iPhone now. And yeah, she took up her phone, turned it off and everything, and got her a new phone after that whole situation. Like, as soon as she sent that message, she confiscated her phone and deactivated the number. Yeah, that's that on that. Literally, that's all that happened. Yeah, you guys, that is the story. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, I'm gonna come back when my hair looks nice. I'm about to shower because it's 3 o'clock and I need to go grocery shopping. Okay, y'all, this is the fit. But yeah, as you can see my hair, y'all, when I tell y'all she is such a diva, she can't hear the camera start going without her wanting to be a part of it. I also want to give a disclaimer. I do not believe in fast girls. I know like somebody's probably going to say that in the comments, like there is no such thing as a fast girl. I understand that. I know that. In that moment, you're talking about my mom. You're talking about my dad. You're talking shit about me and you're trying to drive a wedge between me and my family. No. All is fair in love and war. You want to talk about fast-ass little girls? Let's talk about them. I just wanted to make that disclaimer. I don't believe in any of that, but like I said, I knew that the things that I would say would hit home for her and just hit her right in the fucking gut. And that's exactly what I wanted to do. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so very much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.